On this episode of ReLiterated, we're doing a book so scary, it altered the sound quality of Harold's voice for at least 2 episodes. R.L. Stine takes us to a twisted amusement park where every ride could be your last. But hey, at least the lines are super short. We read Goosebumps number 16, One Day at Horrorland, on ReLiterated, the podcast that goes bump in the night. Welcome to ReLiterated, the lowbrow book club of 3 grown-ass men reading the children's books popular in the 1990s, but with 2020's hindsight. Fair warning, we use language too mature for kids, analysis too immature for literary scholars, and ignorance too profound to be inoffensive to everyone. We also talk about our books in depth, and that includes spoilers, so before you listen, if you're not familiar with the story, be prepared to be spoiled. I'm Andy.
I'm Harold.
And I'm Josh.
And we're continuing with our spooky season with a trip to Horrorland.
Yes.
A very spooky amusement park. Guys, have you ever been really, really scared on an amusement park ride or a carnival ride or what have you?
As I said before we opened, just about every time I go on some kind of carnival ride, in fact, carnival rides specifically, I spend the whole time imagining some Final Destination situation happening because I just look around and I'm like, how am I trusting that these things were put together properly?
I know a lot of people have ridden this ride, but is this the time?
Right. But Cedar Point, with their huge roller coasters that they have, I can ride them if I take Dramamine, but the whole time I'm like, this might be it. This is probably the last time I'll be alive.
This is how I go.
I'm not a big fan of the dropping rides, the rides that just take you up and then drop you. I do not like the feeling of falling. So any rides that are like that, I've not been a fan of. So like the Demon Drop at Cedar Point or that stupid Iron Mine falling one at Six Flags in Illinois. But I love roller coasters. My favorite roller coaster I've ever been on is at Universal Studios, and it's called the Rock and Roller Coaster. And you get to choose a song that you listen to while going on the roller coaster. Ooh. I chose Motley Crue's Kickstart My Heart. Oh, man. Such a good, awesome ride, especially with that song.
Do they play it for everybody or just you?
It plays just in your headphones. You get to choose your song.
You have your own headphones.
Like, it's like up in the, like, you know how it protects your, wherever the ear protection is, it's like there's speakers there. So
okay, it
blasts into your ears. It's awesome.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. Kickstart Your Heart, that dun 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 dun.
Oh, you just trying to anger people now, aren't you?
Kickstart my heart. Kickstart my heart. Well, I've got a little something to say about getting a song wrong in just a little bit. But there was one time I was on a ride. It was at Midland County Fair. I was on it's like a whirlwind, like the cars it just goes in a circle and up and down, whatever. And, centrifugal force and whatever. But I was on that ride. I'm pretty sure it was with Sarah. And like, we're 2 adults, we're a little bit bigger. And I was on the outside. And as this thing got going and the centrifugal force was getting greater, like it started pressing her like against me and crushing me like towards the side of the car. And like the bar was like going right into my rib cage and stuff. And I thought it was like squeezing the breath out of me. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, that's why I avoid those types of rides.
Yep.
So yeah, that was probably the scariest ride I've ever been on. I can do most roller coasters. I haven't been in a really long time, but I remember my very first one was the Raptor at Cedar Point. It was the one that made me realize that I can do roller coasters. So
that's a classically good roller coaster too.
Yes,
that's one of my favorites.
I think the is it Twin Dragon or Iron Dragon. It's 2 roller coasters that like race each other. They're metal.
No,
There's
that's the
Gemini.
Yeah, that's the Gemini.
Maybe I'm thinking of something different. Maybe it wasn't 2.
Yeah, the Iron Dragon was just like a corkscrew style ride, if I remember correctly.
Not to stay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Not to stay on the subject for the rest of the evening, but let me tell you, the Gemini does bring back a memory of a time that we went down there and it was like the perfect weather. It was fall and it was one of those perfect nights that it was warm enough to be out in a sweatshirt and like not get too warm, not too cold. And nobody was there. And we were literally just running around the line for the Gemini and getting in different cars, like my dad and my brother and one of my dad's friends. And we were taking teams and then seeing who won. And it was a blast. We must have gone on it like 15 or 20 times.
That sounds utterly fantastic to basically have an amusement park to yourself.
Yo, it was great.
But that's not always the case, as we will see in just a bit.
Yeah, sometimes when the lines are empty, it's not a good thing.
There might be salmonella in the food.
Or guano just wherever.
Yeah, right?
Or it might be because the ride is shut down because somebody died on it.
Oh.
And they have to hose off the blood.
Before they open it back up later today.
I remember when we were in high school, it was, I was hearing about this one girl who had her hair caught in the power tower, and like somebody in one of my classes was claiming to have been there like that day when it happened, and they like looked up and they could see like her scalp flapping in the breeze.
It's
like,
not
right
funny.
after it happened. No, it's not funny, but it does make you laugh. I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen some videos of people going into areas they should not have gone into and then not leaving those areas ever again. Well, parts of them leave.
Right.
After breaking a person's foot. Yeah.
I haven't seen any of those videos.
It's-
Apparently
yeah,
this
it's
girl
crazy.
was just riding the power tower as normal, just with hair too long, got caught in something, whatever.
Yeah.
Is that a real story?
I think it actually did happen.
Was that just
I
an
don't know.
urban legend?
We may have to bing it. I'm sure. I don't know. Should we bing it right now?
I'm already on it.
There you go.
It's false. It never
Nobody's
happened.
died on the power tower at Cedar Point.
No one's been scalped on the power tower.
Do you mean to tell me that sometimes people fabricate stories just to see if they can fool other people, Harold?
It appears as though they do, and also some people that do that are able to more easily recognize when a story is bullshit.
That's when they use Bing.com.
Just to be like, yeah, I'm going to confirm whether or not this is bullshit.
Nice.
Bing.com. Confirm whether or not it's bullshit.
I always thought it was true, so I don't know. I didn't know about that other kid being there that day or whatever, but I thought I had heard something.
Well, now you know that
about
kid is a
someone dying on the
liar.
power tower. Okay.
And unlike somebody who would just fuck around and make you believe something for a couple minutes, that guy allowed you to believe it forever. So
He had me going for like 30 years.
that's a liar.
And we weren't at the same school, so I would have blamed you for being that jackass.
Right?
Well, speaking of getting things wrong, I wanted to do a quick profound ignorance segment before we get started. Last week, during Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, we talked about the Hearst song and how we're not quite good at sight reading music. And I did not realize that I had known this song all along. Like, it's a pretty popular tune. Because I looked it up on YouTube, the Hearst song, and apparently it's the one that goes da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da 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 dun da dun da dun da dun da dun.
Okay.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So yeah, that's been used in like 1,000 cartoons that take place during Halloween stuff. So if I had known how to sight read better, I would have. I also wound up cutting out a part where I tried to sight read the song, but got it completely wrong, and it sounded nothing like that. So I admit that I am not a great sight reader of sheet music.
Well, hey, it sounded great to me, and I'm not sure if any of our listeners actually care whether or not you sight read correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we still cleared the air.
We still cleared the air. I just wanted to update you guys that is what that song is. But something we did get wrong, according to our friend Janelle over on TikTok, we completely butchered her name, and she made a video about it. It was actually pronounced Ms. Confinio Mater, because it's Latin, and we didn't recognize that it was Latin. But she was kind enough to change her dang TikTok name just because we got it wrong. Isn't that nice of her?
You know why we didn't recognize it as Latin?
Because we don't speak Latin?
Because we don't speak Latin, because Latin is a dead language.
It truly is.
Yes.
I'm so much smarter than you because you don't know how to say this ancient language.
Totally got one by on us.
Yep.
But she was willing to change something about herself just because we got it wrong. So
there we go. It's growth. That's called growth.
It's called growth.
Maybe one day we'll experience it.
Someone pronounces your name wrong, you just change your name.
Yep.
So let's get cracking on Goosebumps. We've talked about Randy Lugubrious Stein before.
He is a returning character.
He is a returning personality on our show. I wanted to introduce a very brief segment called Stein Watch. And he did something really cool lately on TikTok. There was Twitter. There was a Twitter user by the name of @TheStitchKeeper who asked R.L. Stein, so I've been reading The Haunted Mask to my kid before bed. Now, in one chapter, you mentioned that Carly Beth saw a kid in a Ninja Turtle costume trick-or-treating, and my kid absolutely needs to know specifically which Ninja Turtle the kid was dressed up as. And R.L. Stein responded to this Twitter user saying, weird question of the day. Tell him Leonardo. So there you go. Whenever we get to The Haunted Mask, we will know which Ninja Turtle the kid is dressed up as, thanks to the man himself, Raphael Leonardo Stein.
Nice. That's pretty cool that he reached out. That was recently that he did that?
Yeah, it's pretty recently on Twitter.
Dude's in his 70s.
Yeah, engaging with the fans.
Yep.
Awesome.
Horrorland here is a pretty good book. I actually read it a couple times before for the first Goosebumps episode. And I thought it was way better than My Harry's Adventure.
Oh, by far. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
This is what you want a horror story to be.
Yes. It was much better than My Harry's Adventure. But, authors have their ups and downs. So
do you think that might be because we're hairy men? And so it's like, they're like, he's like, I had hair growing all over me. Like, yeah, dude, we all been there, man.
Right. I mean, it's something that happened like slowly. Like he is slowly turning into a dog.
Listen, your armpits are going to start stinking and you need to make sure.
Right. But this is life and death on the line.
Yeah.
Unlike My Harry's Adventure. And more like Welcome to Dead House, where there was danger and terror and running from things other than a pack of dogs who used to be children.
Right.
Who used to be dogs.
The story starts out on a spooky note. It says, as we entered the gates to Horrorland, we had no idea that in just a few hours, we would all be lying in our coffins. And obviously, we know that it's a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. It's just like
it's a foreshadowing.
It's very good foreshadowing.
It's straight up. It is cliffhanger foreshadowing by R.L. Stein. He's like, I'm gonna make a cliffhanger at the beginning of the book. First line of the book is a fucking cliffhanger. You like that?
Yep, hooked ya.
Got you in. But yeah, so this family and a family friend. It is mom, dad, brother, sister, and male friend, right?
Brother's friend, Milhouse.
Yep.
So yes, there's Lizzy. She is the main character, protagonist, and narrator. She's 12 years old. And her thing is that she's calm. She is the calm one.
Oh, that's
Everyone always
yes.
tells her, Lizzy, you're the calm one.
She is so calm.
So,
She is a lens through which we see this story.
yes. The little brother is Luke. He is 10. He's energetic, goofy. Also, he has a persona of the Mad Pincher. And then his little brother, the little brother's friend is Clay, and he's just kind of, he's Milhouse. He's kind of wimpy, has glasses.
Yeah, this whole time I was just envisioning it as Lisa Barton Milhouse because Clay was the friend along with on the family trip, kind of like that episode where they went to the beach to the Flanders beach house on vacation. They took Milhouse.
Sticky notes everywhere.
But like Clay's kind of wimpy, wears glasses. Yeah.
I want to note that this is also the point where they introduce the B story that's there for only adults. I thought this was genius of him. If you check out when you're reading this, Dad is the only blonde in the family.
Mm-hmm.
The mom and the brother and sister all have straight black hair and blue eyes. Dad doesn't look like any of them. He's short. He's kind of chubby, yada, yada, yada. Clay, right? So here's the deal. I think that Mom, those kids aren't Dad's. And Clay is Dad's kid from his second family. And he made sure that Luke and Clay were friends so that they can all go to the Horrorland together. Zoo Gardens. They're going to Zoo Gardens.
We should ask R.L. Stein this on Twitter and see if he'll respond.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, ReLiterated here. We got a question.
Is the dad in Welcome to One Day at Horrorland the father of any of these children?
Yeah.
My kid has to know, otherwise he just stays up at night thinking about it.
Right, we have to make sure that we involve a kid in all this.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, all these stories, like, when I read them as an adult, you guys aren't getting it, but I'm seeing all the B stories that you guys aren't seeing.
Oh, I saw it. I was just like, you know what? We're going to skip over it because it's just what it is. Like, yeah, that's obviously the mailman's kid. We get it.
Yep.
It's fine.
No, it's Dad's kid from a second family. I'm telling
that's
you.
Clay. That's Clay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's what Harold said, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're talking about the brother and sister.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I wanted to get that out of the way. We all agree on this one, right? It's
Sure.
weird.
Sure. None of the kids are related to the dad.
Yes, we're all fairly sure. But you know what? He's a dad. He's being a dad, and that's all that's important.
It is.
So.
And he's bringing his friend's son along, too, you know?
I mean, my friend Jeremy used to come with us on camping trips all the time, so
He's probably your half brother, dude. So
yeah, well, let's not dig that hole any deeper for my dad.
Oh God.
My parents are divorced for a reason. So
so yeah, they are heading to Zoo Gardens, and they're out in the outlands, you know, the desert or the Is it the desert?
Why are they in the desert if they're trying to find this place to see exploited animals?
They're clearly very lost.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even see trees, let alone
there ain't
like a gas station or any signs of life.
They see a sign, and the sign just says for rent. Who the fuck's gonna rent that sign? Nobody drives by there. They didn't see anybody else on this road.
But they do end up, the mom and dad, after arguing for a bit, which R.L. Stein's parents arguing cliches are pretty decent.
The kids fight, or the parents are fighting, and so the kid breaks it up. Like every story, it seems like the kid has to break it up. But then she talks back, and then her dad goes crazy again. And they're just, they're cooped up. Luke's doing the mad pincher on Clay where he just starts pinching him and stuff, and then they're fighting. And the family is lost. And they, Clay gets scared because they're lost, because that's what Milhouse does.
Yeah, Clay's a scaredy cat. But they pull up on the side of the road to look at the map, and they
don't have a map. They just pull over to
that's right,
just to basically chill out
for a second. Yep. And so then that's when they see this hideous monster staring down at them, and that is an end of chapter cliffhanger.
Oh, chapter 1. Cliffhanger.
We made it through chapter 1, guys.
Yes.
We got it.
Record
we did
time.
it. We're doing good. We're making good time.
Chapter 1. We're on pace. We've only been talking for 24 minutes.
We're getting good at this podcasting
we only been talking
thing.
about the story for like 5, so we're doing good.
Right.
All that
Yep.
other stuff is just, important things that people need to know.
That's right. Chapter 2. Oh no, giant monster looking through the sunroof.
It's actually a billboard.
Yeah, it's a billboard.
It's a billboard that says, "Welcome to Horrorland."
Well, it's a sign for Horrorland.
It's a billboard that apparently nobody saw as they pulled up to it.
Nope. Well, it's one of those, like, like when you step on a pad and all of a sudden something pops up.
Oh, like a spring trap billboard.
Yeah.
Just waits for you to park right in front of it.
It's on brand with Horrorland.
It's on brand with Horrorland.
Maybe it's for the cops to hide behind to catch nobody. There's nobody on the road. Damn it.
No, exactly. So this is if this is about Horrorland.
Not a good premise. So yeah, the kids convince the parents to go to Horrorland because it says it's a mile down the road. And then it says that they're in the middle of a forest. Here's my question. Where does it go from forest to desert? Or rather, desert to forest?
I'm sure
Like
it
that.
happens.
I looked it up, and that's a savanna. I looked up American savanna. There isn't really an American savanna. I think they go through a portal.
Oh, maybe they do. I mean, it's magic.
Yeah.
They
It's
probably
Goosebumps.
died. Like, before the end of chapter 1, they died. And this is all
They
hell.
died on the desert.
That's
is
lazy
their
conspiracy,
punishment.
Andy. It's lazy conspiracy.
It's lazy headcanon.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been dead the whole time.
Yep.
Don't try to turn this into some Jacob's Ladder type scenario.
Hey, no, that's a different podcast.
Yep, but I still like them. Hey, if you if you guys are listening to this, we would love to have you on the show. Goes out to Paul, Jason, or June. Or anyone famous, really.
That goes to anybody listening to this.
It goes to anybody.
Yeah, actually, pretty much anybody. If you want to come on, we'll probably let you.
You're not a specific listener. Come on our show.
We're
know how
having a
many people will
technical
take us up on
difficulty
that.
tonight. I'm using my gaming headset because my good mic is broken at the moment. So, yeah, we could take anything. But yeah, so when they get to Horrorland here, this was pretty crazy as they're walking up and they're like, wow, this is really crazy. This is awesome. The fucking car exploded.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was like the hypest part of
so
this book.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like the car explodes for no reason.
And at this point, they're like, fuck it, let's go into the park. Like, I don't know.
Guess we're committed now.
I just feel like if the car exploded, I would be like, I gotta sit out here until help comes. I don't care if that's 9 hours.
Nobody even mourns their stuff.
No.
That was in the car.
Nope. Yeah, that
I
was
mean, yeah,
great.
the primary concern is that now we're not going to be able to get home
Right.
with that car. But Mom
Mom just says,
directly-
we're
she
safe.
goes directly to, thank
We're
goodness
all
everybody's
safe. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jesus.
She's the other calm one. Lizzie's the calm one, but Mom is the calm one.
Mom is the real calm. She's the conduit. And Lizzie...
Of course, Dad is in utter shock, just like, huh?
Right. And
What?
everybody's telling him, like, bro, why are you acting like this? Stop.
But he's completely justified
fucking car.
because his car fucking exploded.
Yeah.
He's not. He isn't.
And they're in the middle of nowhere.
So they go into the park to get a phone, but there are no phones.
They don't have any phones there.
But at least they get free admission because their car blew up.
Yeah.
And the person at the ticket booth is apparently someone in a big old monster costume.
A really good one. And that's a Horrorland horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's very inventive naming convention.
They even say, don't let this spoil your visit. Dad's like, spoil my visit?
Don't let a blown up car ruin your fun.
For some reason, I pictured him as Rick Steiner from the 80s. Like,
Right.
I don't know why. I was like, okay, in my head, that is Rick Steiner. Because he's short and kind of round and...
Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner went to my high school.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They're Bay City Western High alums.
Did you know them?
No, they're like way older than me. They also went to my other alma mater, University of Michigan.
I don't
And they
know.
wrestled there. Then they went to the WWF and wrestled there.
Well, they went to WCW. Then they went to WWF.
Yeah, they went to the WWF by way of WCW.
And then Scott Steiner learned about steroids.
The genetic freak.
And then, yeah, he became that guy.
Right.
I don't know about any of that stuff because
You didn't watch wrestling in the 80s?
Never followed pro wrestling.
I think it was the Steiner brothers. Was it Rick Steiner and what was the other guy's name?
Scott.
Scott Steiner.
Scott Steiner. Okay, yeah, and they went to Western High School, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad went to school with them.
Oh,
the
really?
Rex Steiners.
Yeah, my dad went to school with
The real last name is Rex
is
Steiner.
with the Rex Steiners. Yep, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
That's
my dad
awesome.
went to school with those guys. He used to say, I went to school with them.
I went to school with the Steiner brothers.
They were in the same
Sure,
grade, I
Dad.
believe.
Oh, were they in the same class?
Yeah, they were the same grade, yeah. Or, yeah, class.
Sweet.
Yep.
But yeah, Lizzie's dad apparently looks more like a wrestler than a bank manager.
Which, what a thing to say, though. I mean, a bank manager can't look like a wrestler. Obviously, a wrestler can't really look like a bank manager, but... But I would argue, no, that's actually wrong. I would say there are probably some surprising bank manager-looking wrestlers that...
I mean, there was IRS. He really looked like a bank manager.
I don't know enough about it. So,
All right. Yes.
yeah.
Lizzie, Luke, and Clay.
So
Go off.
they go off on their own because the dad's like, I need to find a phone.
There's got to be a phone somewhere.
And the mom's like, oh, you're hysterical. I'll go with you. So the parents obviously leave their kids to go off on their own.
Right? Yeah, they're like, you guys go do your thing. We're going to try and figure out where a phone is.
Not unbelievable in an amusement park, you know.
No.
No,
Kids are
especially at that
old enough to
age.
go on rides and stuff. Yeah.
And there's 3 of them.
And they said that there's not a lot of people in the park. So
Yep.
So the first thing that they see is Werewolf Village, an old-timey village with cobblestone streets and thatch roof cottages.
The thatch roof cottages.
Just
And
like
the sounds of wolf howls everywhere set in the mood. And a sign that reads, "Welcome to Werewolf Village. Do not feed the werewolves if you can help it."
they see a horror with a human head yo-yo. Thought that was pretty cool.
They assume that the werewolf is mechanical, but they don't know for sure.
Well, a wolf actually runs past them.
Yeah. And they're like, is that a real wolf? No.
Yeah. The mom's like, it's clean, it's fine. But yeah, they get growled at by a hungry looking wolf
Ah.
because it's a cliffhanger to the next chapter. But it's just a mechanical robot.
Oh, one of those mechanical robots now.
Oh, yeah. Mechanical. That's something else.
And they see a no pinching sign, which is interesting.
Yep. There's
Yeah, I really missed the part where the wolf just like slid back behind. It's covered with a single sentence. This this cliffhanger is like, its red eyes were locked on us. The wolf slithered out, holding his head low, glaring up at us with wide red eyes, its mouth open hungrily. The wolf let out a low growl. Then it slid back behind the cottage wall. Yeah, I think it's some kind of robot or something.
Yep. Takes
Yeah,
care of
let's
that.
go.
Cleans it up.
That's the end of that chapter.
And they ignored the pinching, no pinching. Luke, of course.
Yeah, there's signs all over that say no pinching.
Yep. So Lizzie pinches Luke, and he's the mad pincher. So we know that, he's probably going to be getting in trouble at some point here.
So they leave Werewolf Village to find some scary rides. And once they
Yeah.
leave the village, it's super sunny out. And they actually see some horrors selling black ice cream. My question is, do you think it's black licorice ice cream?
Ooh, that sounds good.
I
That
knew
sounds
you'd say that
gross.
because you're a heathen. That sounds disgusting.
That sounds really good. I wonder if there is
See-
black licorice ice
You
cream.
can tell you're not chaotic good by the way that you like black licorice. That's clearly a neutral to evil thing.
No, it's not. I would argue that you guys not liking things is neutral to evil.
I would think that you acting superior for liking more things is neutral to evil.
That's inconsequential. I'm just superior.
That's a lawful evil type of thing to say.
They do make black licorice ice cream. Or you can make black licorice. Okay, you got to make it yourself. fuck that. It's not worth that. See, I'm not. See, there you go.
As long as it wasn't licorice flavored, I'd try black ice cream.
I mean, yeah, I imagine
Just
that
saying.
whatever, you could put any flavor and make it black. It could be strawberry.
Just black vanilla.
A really dark chocolate.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Yeah. So they find the doom slide. Will you be the one to slide forever? Warning, you may be the one to slide to your doom.
Woo! Yeah, this one was fun too.
Have you guys ever been on a slide? One of these slide like this?
Not like this, unless we're talking about like a water slide. Yeah.
So in Caseville, I don't know if they still have it, but they have something similar to this where it doesn't tilt, but you sit on like a grass sack and you go down and it's, it's fun, but it's not real long or anything like that. Like
I've seen all these like straightforward slides like all lined up next to each other. This sounds like it's enclosed in a building.
Mm-hmm.
You go inside and up and to the start of one of 10 slides and hope that you don't pick the slide that makes you slide forever.
When I heard that, for some reason, I thought of the scene where Loki, he was like, I've been falling for 20 minutes.
You're right.
So Lizzy chooses number 3. That's her lucky number. Luke picks 2, and Clay picks 10. So the slide tilts, and they go down a crazy, crazy ride. And Lizzy and Luke actually come out and land on the ground. That I found to be odd and not real safe.
It just like dumps them out a hatch on the side of the building and they collapse on the ground. Does not sound like a nice landing.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think safety is the number one goal of Horrorland.
They're not too concerned with safety, no.
It does seem to be a lacking quality.
Clay does not show up though at the end of this ride. They're looking for him. So they end up going up and going down slide number 10.
After being warned that maybe he went down the doom slide.
Yep.
So clearly, logically, they both decide to go down what may be the doom slide.
Together.
Not without 2 or 3 pages of anxiety.
Right? They like run around the building a couple times waiting for him to come out. They run up to one of the horrors and ask him about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not needed. But it does build suspense for the reader.
And once they're down the slide, it is a much longer slide than the first one.
It has crazy bumps and drops. They get cobwebs in their face.
Hot, sticky cobwebs, which that would be a weird sensation. I mean, cobwebs is one thing, but like hot.
I wonder if that's what all those girls feel like. I see in those videos sometimes. But it doesn't make their faces itch or hurt, so I guess that's okay. But then they see fire. The slide is on fire.
Yeah, the slide starts on fire.
And they slide through the fire and flames.
Good song.
They do end up coming out at the end. They land hard on some soft grass. So it's kind of nice, kind of soft grass.
And there's a sign, "Welcome to Doom. Population 0 humans." But luckily, Clay is right next to that sign. So that sign is a liar.
Yep, that sign is a liar.
So it was the
correct
slide
itself.
to Doom.
Yep. Just turns out Doom is a different spot in the park.
So this theme park runs Doom.
Luke acts like he wasn't scared at all. He was like, "Oh, this is awesome." He seems to be one of those people that actually gets a thrill from horror, like watching horror movies and things like that. I personally am not one of those people. So I'm like, I understand it, but I'm not going to do it.
Think Luke's going to grow up to be like an adrenaline junkie?
Probably. Seems like type of person.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Luke is convinced that it's all special effects.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, they're not really injured or burnt or
right.
or sliding forever. So, it's a good, so it's pretty, so far a sound theory.
So they get to going around the park and they see Horror Rapids, but they bypass that one, and then they see a House of Mirrors, and Luke convinces them to go in. Have any of you guys ever been in a House of Mirrors?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't think I've ever been in a House of Mirrors. I've been in a place where there's mirrors that showed you being like tall and like squatting, like, the curved mirrors.
So like funhouse mirrors.
Yeah, but I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever been in an actual like mirrored fun house, like House of Mirrors situation.
I've been in the mirror room in Frankenmuth.
I've not.
It's a little maze of mirrored passages, and it's not too constricted or whatever, but it's pretty trippy walking around there with all the reflections. You kind of seek out the mirrors that have like people's handprints and smudges and whatever to figure out where the mirrors go, because they don't go through the room and clean out those mirrors too often. But
so basically, you look at toddler level, because that will always lead you out.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
But right before they go in, Lizzy is warned by a horror. Get away while you can. Please, I'm serious. Get away while you can. How? Their
In
car,
what car?
blew up?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you're not do you have something I could use to get out of here?
How would you propose I do that?
Silly horrors.
Psh.
But Lizzy does tell Luke and Clay what the horror said, and Luke just thinks it's a joke. And, they're like, oh yeah, they're just trying to scare you. That's what Horrorland is here for. We're here to scare you. So
I like the warning sign is House of Mirrors, reflect before you enter. No one may ever see you again. And they're like, okay, let's go in there. Because you would think, if you're at this place, you'd be like, this is all a big fucking joke. They're trying to scare us.
And yet another no pinching sign.
yeah, Lizzy gets scared because she can't find the boys.
Well, right off the bat, she smucks her forehead on solid glass.
Yeah, that's gonna be a bad time.
Yeah, and they end up getting separated and then kind of like boxed in.
Yeah, and so they're all trapped, and then the walls start closing in on all sides.
Yep.
I was like, this is straight out of Steven Spielberg / George Lucas's handbook.
That always is effective for me, that scenery of being slowly compressed into a smaller and smaller space and not being able to get out of it.
That is a great fear of mine.
Yeah.
As a fat person, getting stuck places is a great fear of mine because it's not a good feeling. I don't like being stuck.
I watched a video the other day of a guy spelunking, and he was climbing through a hole, and he was going backwards through the hole, and he was only able to move like a centimeter at a time.
Oh,
and he got to this point where he had one arm in, one arm out, and he was basically just using his toes to pull him further back. And he's like, this is the point where some people start to freak out a little bit. And he's like, you just got to realize you can keep on moving, just slow but surely, you're gonna make it. And he's like, I almost feel like I'm completely stuck. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking psychopath. Like, no way.
Yeah,
some people.
No, thank you.
I'm not claustrophobic in a small room or in a closet or something like that, but you start like constricting the area on me, and I'm like, no.
Oh, yeah. If I am being encompassed on all sides by by solidness, it's time to panic.
Yep.
I don't care how strong my toes are. I'm gonna pull myself up on my toes.
Yeah, I can't even be in a cave. I need to have a way to escape. That's why, like, with my anxiety with crowds and stuff like that, as long as I have a way to escape, I'm fine. But like being in a cave, there's no way for me. I don't see a way out. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I do not want.
So House of Mirrors, Mirror Maze, whatever.
Yeah, they get squeezed, and Lizzy feels like a crushed car. And then the floor drops out, and they tumble onto the grass. Because, again, they don't care about the exit strategy of these
Horrorland
rides.
really likes to dump you out on the grass.
Yep. Well, that was a great ride. We just keep getting thrown to the grass.
Mom's going to be furious when she has to do the laundry. Grass stains everywhere. Is that still a thing?
Grass
stains?
Like, mom's getting, I remember my mom getting furious when I got grass stains on my jeans.
That's it. Oh, yeah, that's right. Moms used to care about grass stains.
Moms used to care about grass stains. Now moms are just thrilled when their kids go out and play.
Right.
But Lizzy and Clay are not liking Horrorland. So they ask a horror, has anyone ever died at this park? And the horror replied, only once. And they're like, one person died here? No, that's not what I meant. Well, what did you mean? A person can only die once here. No one has ever died twice.
Ooh.
But
These guys are funny. They think they're comedians. Yeah, she's asking all these questions like, what if they mess up? What if the machines get goofed up? What if the timing gets off? I mean, listen, again, I'll talk about like county fairs. I would, if I could trust those people, I could trust these monsters to do a good job with their thing. I would assume after both things that happened so far, I'd be like, yeah, they're trying to hurt us. They're trying to kill us. We need to leave. It's actually a testament to how good they are at making them safe that they keep on messing up, killing us.
They take you to the point of thinking that you're going to die, and then they dump you out on the lawn.
Yep.
I mean, as a horror thing, that's a very good way to scare someone. So,
And she notices that she's seen a lot of kids crying around the park.
I found that to be actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I was like, that's awesome. Of course kids are scared. It's a horror-themed amusement park.
Oh, trauma.
They pass a wooden coaster that says it's out of order, but you could ride it anyways. Do you dare to ride it anyway?
Yeah. So Lizzy decides that they need to go find their parents.
Yep.
So that they head towards the front gate, and yeah, they pass that out of order roller coaster, and then they have to run through.
Of course, Luke wants to ride it.
Of course. I mean, in all honesty, they would probably just end up getting dropped out on the grass somewhere. But they don't. They're like, nope, we're not going on this. They overruled.
Yeah.
Luke gets outvoted.
We need to find the parents and see what they think about the happenings around here.
So they run through Tree Snake Forest. Has hissing sounds in it.
And then they pass a sign that says, front exit, don't bother, you will never escape.
But not before they pass the laughing statues, which reminded me of Fable. Because in the game Fable, there are gargoyles, and they will make fun of you and laugh at you until you shoot them.
That was always fun in the first game, at least.
I've forgotten about that stuff.
See, that's why I'm still excited.
But they're convinced, Luke is convinced it's only a joke. Oh, and so is Lizzy.
Yeah, they continue on past a flower garden with black flowers, and so I did a little Bing search, and it turns out there's quite a few black flowers. There's the black dahlia, that's probably the most famous one. Chocolate cosmos, the black lily, black roses, obviously. Calla lilies, queen of the night tulip, and a bat orchid. Which, man, bat orchids look super awesome. I'll probably throw one of those up on Reddit to show you guys, because those things are really cool looking. I was like, that's awesome. They look like bats.
Neat. I hope you do throw that up on Reddit. So I can put it up on Facebook where people see it.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not.
Right? But you are.
Kind of. I don't want to take all my pictures off, so it's a storage engine for old pictures. But speaking of bats, the path leads through to the bat barn. Now, how do you feel about bats? I think they're adorable sky puppies.
Bats are fine. I just don't want them around. So
yeah, they freak me out when they're flying around. I don't know what it is.
So, God dang it, here we go on a tangent. When I was a kid,
all right.
When I was a kid, one night my brother jumped in my room. I must have been like 12 or 13. He came in my room and he jumped on my bed and he was like, Harold, wake up. And I'm like, what? He's like, there's a bat in my room. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We get out of bed, we walk in there, and no shit, there's a bat sitting on top of his dresser, like all like laying down. So I'm like, well, it's dead. And I walk over and I fucking I poked it. That motherfucker started flying around in circles around this room, and my brother and I hit the deck like on the ground, like oh shit. We belly crawled to the door and we walk out the door and closed it. And I'm like, okay, let's go down to the kitchen. I'm like, let's get some trash bags and the broom, because I'm thinking we'll hit it into the trash bag with broom, right? So we go down there, I grab a broom, the trash bag, my brother grabs a steak knife, and I'm like, what are you grabbing a steak knife for? And he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill it. And I'm like, no, you're not. So we go back upstairs, we go in the room, I'm standing there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to poke it with the broom so it starts running. I'm like, then you got to hit it with the broom. And he's holding the steak knife still. And he's like, I'm like, you got to drop the steak knife. And he's like, fuck no. So he pokes it with the broom and starts flying around. He immediately throws the knife, drops the broom, jumps under a blanket on the ground. I start spinning around in a circle behind this bat with the bag flying open as I'm trying to catch it. And as this is happening, my mom throws the door open to the room and goes, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" And the bat flies right in front of her face as she's like halfway through that sentence. And she goes, "Ah!" slams the door and runs away. And then I stood there and I dropped on the ground. I grabbed the fucking broom. I stood up and the bat was flying in circles and the window was open. And as the bat flew past the window, I fucking smucked it and it went flying out the window. And my cat Midnight came running up and jumped right out the window after the bat.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So then we talked to my mom and it was funny or whatever. And I hate to carry this on longer, but I have to because like 3 years later, we were at another house and I woke up one morning and there was a bat flying around. So I grabbed the broom because I was like, I know what to do now. I'll just smack it out the window. And I'm like stumbling around making noise. And all of a sudden my mom opens the door of her bedroom and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And a bat flies past her face. She goes, "Oh my God!" Slams the door. Yeah, so.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, bats.
Ooh, got some experience with bats.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm glad you didn't try to kill them. So
No, I was trying to just knock them out the window.
Yeah.
Like, catch him, release him outside. My brother, useless.
Aaron's just like,
he's like, I'm going to kill him. Ah,
what are you going to do?
underneath the-
Learn how to throw knives?
Right? Like, dude.
Are you just going to run up and stab him? You've been so brave to this point.
Bro, one of us is thinking here, okay?
Good grief.
Yep. So they go into the bat house and it's
something
Bat
similar
barn.
happened.
yeah, something very similar happens.
Yeah, it super smells like guano, apparently. Lizzy doesn't like bats, but they're like, okay, we can get through this real quick. But as soon as they step inside, both doors shut and traps them inside in the dark.
Yep.
And they're going through the bat barn because apparently the path to where they're trying to go goes through the barn.
Yep. They're just trying to cover the whole park, I think, basically.
So they're in the barn, and all of a sudden they start hearing bats start flapping around and squeaking, and then they start swooping down, and they actually start getting the kids, and one gets in Lizzy's hair, but Luke actually goes over and touches the door, and it just opens back up, and there's no bats anywhere.
Yep. And she's like, it wasn't special effects when it was in my hair, like what the hell? She's getting pissed at Luke, wants to knock him out and everything. Because he's totally on this. It's all special effects. They got you. You're a nerd.
But yeah, Lizzy's freaked out, but she decides that they need to go find the parents. So she starts leading them towards the front gate. They pass Alligator Pond. Feels free to swim here, and there are some teenagers. Honestly, the most terrifying thing in this book.
Right.
And they go in. And I don't know if I would go into a pond that says Alligator Pond, feel free to swim here.
No,
But-
I would not.
So they get back to the main plaza, and it's basically empty. And then they see, some people that this tall, thin lady and a kind of a round guy with it looks like a Cubs hat. And they go over, but it's not their parents, unfortunately. So they ask some horrors if they've seen their parents, and the horrors are like, yeah, they left. And they said
Right.
they left with a message of goodbye. That was the message.
These horrors, I tell you,
They do end up finding mom and dad, though.
these horrors just really enjoy messing with people.
Yeah, they go through the whole park looking for their parents, and they go around. Some of the rides are Vampire Village, Monster Zoo, which they heard some freaky sounds, but they didn't go in because it was closed. And then the Guillotine Museum, which says, please hold on to your head. But this is when Lizzy is starting to think that the park is actually evil because their parents wouldn't just leave them there. Something had to have happened to them.
Right.
So they end up back at the alligator pond, and there are actually 2 alligators in it and no teenagers. So,
I mean, clearly the teenagers swam in it so much that they turned into alligators.
Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Nice twist.
Because it's been established that happens. It's an old story.
Oh, yes. I don't know it, but good.
Someone should have told you that story in the dark.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, they're at the pond, but she feels somebody about to push her into the pond. Because it's a cliffhanger. Because
But they
chapter
weren't.
17.
They were pushing, they were grabbing.
Yep,
And it
it's their
wasn't
parents.
like a scary grab. It's her dad.
I mean, it was still kind of scary. Why did he grab her like that?
Right? Just pick up on her and go, ah. Oh, my God.
Ah,
Or were they
don't
just
go in
on
the alligator
edge
pond.
because they're in Horrorland?
He's like, where are you guys been? I finally got all the insurance, but we gotta walk 15 miles.
Now their dad's Gary Busey? How do you describe him, Harold? In all those movies we've been watching?
Gary Busey, he looks like he's in charge but has no idea what's going on.
That's it. Yep.
In every movie I've ever seen Gary Busey in, he looks like he's in charge and everybody's looking to him, but he's got no fucking clue what's going on. Like, yeah, so they're all hungry and they want to go get something to eat. And the food,
He's on the other side of the park.
yep, they're hearing scary noises. There's a bungee jump without a cord, which I don't know if I'd do a bungee jump. I mean, I might. I was watching some videos the other day.
I will not bungee jump at
Yeah.
all. No,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
question. Nope. That,
Like
again,
usually
that
you
feeling
don't
of
like
falling.
that free fallings.
I do not like that
sensation.
feeling. So, no
Mhm.
thank you.
But the family's plan is to go on one ride together as a big happy family, then get something to eat, then leave the park.
Like, I don't know why they would want to go on a ride as a happy family.
Well, the parents haven't been able to go on a ride yet because they've
Their
been fretting
car
about
exploded.
the car. Yes.
Right. And they've kind of already foreshadowed what's about to happen, so they have to go through with it.
They have to do it, yep.
Yep.
Because they climb into some coffins to float down the river.
They go on the coffin cruise.
A relaxing float to the grave, which honestly sounds like a lazy river, which is one of my favorite things to do at a water park. So
It wouldn't be if I was inside of a coffin that closed shut and I couldn't open it.
Yeah, it's floating in a coffin that closes
they
shut on you.
don't know that it's gonna do that.
You have to assume that it's going to do that.
Why? Because it's a
They-
horror park.
Probably. I mean, like, recent history would, lead you to believe that the worst is going to happen. You
Right.
know?
And then
What was
I
it,
would just
foreshadowing?
assume. I would just assume that the lid's going to close on you without any warning.
I would be there as well.
But yes, the coffin lids do slam shut. I have a vivid memory of being terrified of coffins because I remember when The Undertaker came out the very first time. Yes, there's a lot of wrestling in this episode. I don't know why.
I
There
don't
just
know
is.
why either,
But there
because I'm
is.
like, dude,
There's a lot.
like, I've shut off twice now when you guys are sitting here talking wrestling, and I'm like, duh, and then I'm like, yeah, wasn't it Rick Steiner?
See, but it's a very vivid memory of The Undertaker with Paul Bearer coming out and locking the Ultimate Warrior in the coffin, and they couldn't get him out. And it was just like this elaborate ruse because obviously he was fine. But as a child, I was terrified that the Ultimate Warrior was going to die.
Oh my god!
in the
Wait,
coffin.
was it all a work, or did he like really get stuck in there?
Well, it was fake. He was stuck in the coffin because the Undertaker locked it, and they couldn't get a key to open it up, so they had to find a drill.
Oh,
And by
okay.
the time they
Okay,
got him,
so
he was like passed out because he ran out of oxygen and all that sort of
So
thing.
it was part of the work then.
Yeah, definitely part
Okay.
of the work.
Oh man, wrestling.
Yeah,
Not
I
just
used to be like
80s wrestling.
I used to be super afraid of being buried alive.
It's a very valid fear.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be buried alive. I think if you're not afraid of being buried alive, there's something wrong with you.
I mean, that's why I'm going to get cremated, you guys. Take all the organs that you can from me, and then whatever left, just burn it up, because don't need to be around.
I mean, I'm going to take all your organs, and that's what's going to kill you.
I mean, don't hurry it too quick.
But I like my organs.
I want all my organs to be stored in jars and kept with me.
We're going to mummify you?
No, I don't need to be mummified. I just want to keep my organs. They're
I
mine.
just want to keep your organs. Oh, yeah, well, take my organs to the grave. No, I am an organ donor.
I'm an organ donor too.
There's no reason to keep them. I don't need them anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you need them right now.
I need them
Don't
now.
get me wrong. Is there a small part of me that's like, what if it's like, I'm like on the edge, you know, but my liver's just looking beautiful for this guy, you know, like I'm like, I really want to make sure that they do everything. Don't call it early because I got some sweet kidneys.
Sometimes I worry about my organs when, like, I get a match on Tinder and, like, they're a little bit too eager to meet with me. Or like, they're, like, right away, like, talking about meeting up. I'm like, are my organs going to survive?
Well, I can attest that you can live without your appendix, so you don't need that organ.
Okay.
And I know people who can live without their gallbladder.
And I've done pretty good without a pipe organ.
Right, but is there like a market out there for people stealing appendices and
God, I hope not. They go bad.
gallbladders?
They go bad so quick.
Right. So
Who needs a new appendix?
We're
or
not talking
gallbladder?
about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about kidneys and livers,
Eyeballs and
eyeballs.
hearts.
Yeah, hearts.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Take all that you can, and then just burn up the rest.
What if they try and steal my seed or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah, good luck on that one too.
Getting jumped for my seed. You don't produce seed anymore. You've been neutered.
do produce seed. It just can't get out. And then I absorb all of the souls of the potential, well, half souls, the
The half
potential
souls
babies
that you create.
Yeah. I absorb them back into my body for the power.
Your half souls are mine because you have nowhere to go.
Speaking of half
what
souls,
were-
these guys are in the coffin.
What were we talking about?
They're still in the coffins here.
Not only are they in the coffin, and
Ooh,
spiders start
spooky
crawling
bun.
on them. Spiders.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah, Lizzie starts feeling spiders crawling all over her.
Yeah, I don't like the feeling of insects on me, crawling on me. It freaks me out.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think anybody does.
Like, I'm scratching my legs right now thinking about it.
But
giving me
then
that
the lid
psychological
pops
feeling.
open, and there are no spiders. It was all a trick.
It's all good.
Just like there were no bats.
Psst, it was nothing.
So I'm saying, you
It's-
guys, there's all this that's teleporting between dimensions. What this is going on. This is
a bubbly hiccupy soup.
yes.
Maybe. So they go to the entrance because they're like, we're gonna leave. All the booths are closed, and they're like, whatever. We don't need
Yeah.
them.
Now Mom is convinced that we need to leave, and we need to
Yep.
leave right the fuck now.
Yeah. Dad Karen's on. He's like, Dad, no, I'm gonna go talk to the manager.
Yeah.
Now see here is the first thing I'll tell him.
They come to a sign that says no exit. No one leaves Horrorland alive.
The gate's all chained and padlocked. They're locked
Yup.
in.
Closed in.
They don't see anyone around, no visitors or horrors.
So that's a fear of mine. I don't ever want to get locked inside a major department store. And I mean, it's probably not something that would happen now because they're usually, like, even Walmart closes at midnight here now, but there are people there all night working, you know.
The way I see it is, if I get locked in one of these places, I am helping myself to the food that they keep in there. And then we'll just sort it all out in the morning.
Sort it out in the morning, right.
I'm going to go rummage for food. I'm going to snack all night. I'm going to go to sleep, and there I will choose someone out when they unlock the doors in the morning.
I'm getting an Xbox out. I'm hooking it up to an 80-inch TV.
That's what I'm saying. I was
Right?
like, go to the entertainment section and boot up an Xbox or find a bunch of old movies you want to watch.
Those are like locked up though. You have to bust some glass or locks or whatever.
They should have known. They should have left it unlocked just in case someone gets locked in there overnight.
Yeah, that should be procedure. They unlock all their valuables.
Well, those locks are super easy to pick anyway.
If you didn't want me to break that glass, you shouldn't have locked it.
You shouldn't have left me with it.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
They're trying to get out. They're locked in.
Yeah, they're trying to way out. The fence is too tall to climb. And there's no side
That's
exit.
going to be my code for getting us back on track is what are we talking about?
And then
it's not a very good code. It's pretty on the nose.
But so they're like, oh, we got to we'll ask somebody. And then they see all of the horrors coming down the plaza surrounding them.
It's like a big old army of horrors.
Well, they let them know that they are on a TV show on the Monster Channel.
On Horrorland Hidden Camera.
Yep, they'll have a brand new car waiting in the parking lot, and they just have to go through a building to exit. That's all.
I laughed at one point because they're like, it's on the Monster Channel. And Dad's like, we don't have cable because we're poor.
I don't have cable. I'm a bank manager. Fucking bank manager doesn't have cable.
Right, I'm gonna get cable on a bank manager's salary.
Yeah, right. Like, the fuck? This guy's the worst.
I don't think it's poverty. Like there are some families, they're like they can be pretty well to do and they can just refuse to have a TV.
Yeah, they're called psychopaths.
They are pretty much psychopaths. I was good friends with a couple of guys in a family where their dad's a lawyer, and it's not because they couldn't afford cable TV. They just didn't. They read books. Nerds.
Oh, good for them. Reading books.
Reading
parents
books.
made them read books.
Who reads books? Oh, wait.
Books suck.
I actually have a coworker who does not watch television or own a television, and she's also an author. So she's written 5 novels, and she's 21. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She's accomplished a lot by not having a television.
I imagine the television does take up a significant portion of time.
I've accomplished a lot. I've finished a lot of movies and played a lot of video games.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
As long as you classify those as achievements, I've gotten a lot of achievements.
Listen, my achievements actually get logged and brought up to me at times.
Yeah, I got a pretty good gamer score.
Yeah.
I get points for doing things.
Yep.
I get trophies.
She get points for writing those books and not watching TV.
Yeah,
Nope.
she gets these points called money.
Money isn't real, dude. Gamer score
it
is
shouldn't
real.
Exist, but
Gamer score is real.
Let's not go into why I think money shouldn't exist, but
Yeah, I'll
Money's
stay away from
not
that.
real.
Yep.
We need at least a couple chapters before we get back into that shit.
Don't get the socialists started on capitalism.
You're right.
Yeah. Just wait for it, guys. There's something coming at some point.
It's gonna happen.
But I digress. So yes, they go
That's
to
an understatement.
They go to exit. They have to go through this building to exit. That's where the real exit is. But as soon as they get into the building, the door slams shut and the lights go out. And they hear a booming voice. Welcome to the Horrorland Challenge. You have 1 minute to go through the monster obstacle course. Please keep in mind that the games are now over. This is real. You're playing for your life. Weren't they the whole time?
So apparently they were games before and not real, and now this final obstacle course is real.
Those weren't games, though. They were just rides, as far as they knew. So it's kind of like, are these people going to try and stick around? There was probably a time when they could have left. But then the horrors locked up the gate. They're like, these people haven't been scared off yet. Get these idiots into the obstacle course. I just watched Squid Game, and it's interesting. It's a good show. But yeah, that's what this makes me think of.
I mean, not to bring Joe Rogan into a podcast, but this reminds me of Fear Factor.
Yes.
But this has all been Fear Factor to this point.
Yep.
But apparently now they're going through an obstacle course where the danger is real.
And it's
allegedly.
It's a bunch of monsters. There's like gorilla-sized monsters with 4 hands. There's 2 giant birds that are 10 feet tall. 6 pig-like creatures with sharp teeth. At one point, there are fur-covered snakes and yellow lizard-like creatures with bullwhip tongues, and a furry ball with 3 mouths of sharp teeth.
A mouthed ball. A 3-mouthed ball.
And then there is another creature, which, to me, the way it was described, it sounds like man, bear, pig. Half man,
Yeah.
half bear, half pig.
Yep, it does.
3 halves.
3 halves.
So, but yeah, Luke gets wrapped up by a bird. Luckily, Lizzy saves him.
Yep. Somehow.
They run, but man, bear, pig grabs her, and gives her a dominator. Again, it's a wrestling move. Basically,
These monsters.
Wait, where is this?
he lifts her up, but he like gut wrenches her
23.
and slams her face first down onto the ground, which is what Russell Simmons used to do. It's basically a reverse power bomb because she gets
Okay.
slammed on her chest and face,
The Dominator.
and then
She says I landed hard on my stomach. My forehead hit the floor.
yeah, that's her hitting her stomach. That's her front half getting slammed to the ground.
Duh. I mean, I would think my chest, not my stomach. Maybe.
All of it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's all kind of
Dominated.
right there. Yeah.
I would just make sure my knees didn't hit the ground.
Mm.
Gotta protect those knees.
Could you imagine what you'd have to look like to keep your knees from hitting the ground?
Oh no,
If you're
I'm
getting
falling
slammed.
forward. Preserve the knees.
You'd have to like bend way backwards, bend your knees and your hips, as you're going
Take it all
straight
in the
down.
face.
Yeah, take it all. Protect the knees.
So, but yeah, the monster starts to crush her with his foot. But then the buzzer sounds, and yeah, time was up, and the announcer states that there were 3 out of 5 survivors.
Yep, which is fucking, and that's a cliffhanger. That's
Mhm.
fucking messed up.
So Lizzy sees Luke and Clay.
Hey, it's a good thing all those monsters stopped at the buzzer.
Right?
Yup. But then Lizzy cries out, just super, because her 2 of her parents
Her
are
mom
dead.
and her dad. Yeah, her parents are dead. And they did actually end up having 5 out of 5.
Yep. Announcer
Lots
said there was
of-
a
Oh.
mistake.
Did I say 3? I meant 5.
Yep.
Dad actually got injured. He had a gash on his arm, but otherwise everyone was fine. Traumatized, probably need years of therapy, but they're fine.
It's a deep gash. I'm wondering how deep this gash is, how big it is. Like, that's a question. I want to ask that question on Twitter. R.L. Stein. In Horrorland, Dad gets a deep gash on his arm. What would you describe this deep gash to be? Because is Dad actually going to be able to keep going, or do they need to get some medical attention for him here?
We still need to ask him if the main character in Welcome to the Dead House was wound up dead.
Yeah,
At the
or
end.
if they got
Here's-
away.
Here's the
That the
deal.
family
We
would
just need to
survive.
we need to like get a bunch of questions together for R.L. Stein and just start
Just keep
spraying-
spamming,
He's spamming
on Twitter.
him with questions on Twitter.
tagging
until
him in
he
our
finds-
tweets.
What the
We're gonna
fuck?
at you, R.L. Stein.
We are. But yeah, they say, you can't get away with this. Dad's like, you can't get away with this. You can't do this to people on TV. R.L. Stein was actually more correct on what you could do to people on TV than he thought when he wrote this book, according to things I've seen on television for
Yeah, from-
reality TV.
Impractical Jokers, and
I mean, look at Naked and Afraid is kind of like One Day
Oh,
at
yeah.
Horrorland,
people audition to go on that. Idiots.
right?
But
There are probably people who would audition to go on this,
that's true.
or at
yeah,
least
people that
willingly
love horror.
visit this this amusement park.
So at this point right now, though, they discover something about the horrors at the park.
Yeah,
'Cause
Lizzy
Lizzy gets
attacks the
pissed.
MC,
Yep.
and she
and she-
goes to rip her mask off. And who was it? It was Old Man Murphy. Oh,
Nope,
no.
she wasn't wearing a mask. She
Nope, it
is
wasn't a
a
mask.
horror. It was her face.
This whole time, these big green monsters with black horns and bulgy yellow eyes, I think,
Yep.
turned out to be actual monsters, not people in costumes.
It's actually a show for monsters to watch.
Yes, the Monster Channel is a cable network for monsters
Yep. Horrorland Hidden Camera.
Yes.
where they kidnap humans and run them through life-threatening scenarios.
Yes.
their entertainment.
They all think it's a joke, but they take the park very serious. Everything is serious to them in the park. And the horrors say it's time to say goodbye. And they're pushing towards a purple pond. And when they're on the edge, they ask, do you want to jump or be pushed?
And it's like the slime is a purple slime in the pond, and it's like reaching out at them. I'm imagining like Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, yeah.
Pink goo.
The mood slime.
Yep.
Is this monster blood? Is it a pond of monster blood?
Ooh.
It's been a really long time since I've read Monster Blood, so I don't know the properties offhand.
Because I believe this is part of the Monster Blood series. So it might be. I'm not positive, but I think I read that.
Let's just boldly claim something we don't know is true.
You want to bing it? We can always bing it.
Monster Blood is number 3 in the series. And
Can't we just ask R.L. Stein on Twitter?
Yeah, let's just add that to the
That's the question we're going to ask R.L. Stein. Hey, is the purple lake at the end of One Day at Horrorland consisted of Monster Blood?
Very
we just
good.
Want to know.
We gotta know.
We have listeners that want to know. We have a listener that wants to know.
At least one.
At least one. That we know for a fact.
So yeah, they think that it's pretty much up for them, and then Liz decided to reach out and pinch the MC as hard as she could, because it was getting to the point that they were about to fall in this purple goo, and she yells, "The mad pitcher strikes again!" And that because she was just trying to like call up Luke, like, hey, you know, and ended up that pinching is actually the way you beat these monsters. They're really kind of not very tough at all.
Yeah, it makes them deflate like balloons.
Yep.
I like that. They're pinching people, and Lizzy actually does a cheesy 80s movie action line. She says, see, I always come through in a pinch. I was like, nice. Nice.
I see what you did there, Lizzy.
Good job. Good job, R.L. Stein.
Yep.
Good job.
Way to read
Ridiculous
the room.
Lizzy Stein.
So the family starts running. They run away from the horrors as the horrors also run because they're going to pinch them. But the gate's unlocked, so they get to the parking lot. But again, the car was blown up.
But there are some buses.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out why they have shuttle buses.
But to bring more people to Monster or Horrorland.
You can't have an amusement park without a bus, right? When you think amusement parks, you think buses.
Right.
Yeah.
But anyways, Horrorland has buses. So they all get on a bus, and hopefully there's ignition keys in there. And yeah, there's ignition keys in there.
Yep. And they get it started. The horrors are coming, and they're saying no one ever gets away.
But they get away.
Yep, they get away anyways.
So they drive all the way home. They apparently get back through the portal.
Yeah, it has to be, because otherwise, how the fuck would they know where they were going? They were lost when...
Yeah, they were lost. So that's why I was like, I don't... They found their way back somehow, luckily.
Maybe the bus had GPS. Maybe it was like early GPS.
Monster GPS, so MGPS.
Yep. Or they just drove in the direction that they came from and didn't stop.
Yep.
So they were back home.
But when they get back home, there's a horror that hung onto the bus. So they're like, what do you want? He replies, here, we forgot to give you your free passes for next year.
Fine. We get to go.
So that's it, guys. That was One Day at Horrorland.
So
y'all come back now, you hear?
We all see what's happening here, right? The horror at the end was dead.
The whole time.
You probably didn't even notice. Yeah, you probably didn't even notice that his character was in the background of the story.
I didn't see it.
There were horrors pretty well described the whole way through.
Yeah, but this one wasn't.
In the background and in the foreground. And
this one never was described. It was more of a feeling.
There's that lingering feeling that there's going to be some gotcha horror.
Right.
To come up at the end.
So, One Day at Horrorland I remembered it fondly, and it's definitely one of my more favorite of the ones we've read so far.
Mm-hmm. It's been 3 of them, but
yep.
So far, they're the most fun one, I'd say.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading this. This one was fun.
I remember back in the day I read this all. It was one of the books I read all in one sitting.
I could easily see that happening. Isn't it one of the shorter ones? Or does it just go by fast?
I think
it's both, I think.
It's constantly moving. There's constantly something happening.
Mm-hmm.
They're not... and it's just in a day. It's not like, you know, when we read Welcome to
Not
Dead
over
House.
the course of a few weeks, like
Yeah,
My Harriet's
right.
Adventure.
Yeah.
It kind of ebbs and flows. It goes up and down and things happening, whatever. But this is all just like one thing after another. Get through this ride, go to the next one,
Yep.
wonder what's going on, find mom and dad. For some reason, all go on a ride together.
Yep. Even though our car's been blown up, we still haven't rectified that situation at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happens that's just straight up bonkers.
Right.
But it's a fun kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a good romp for the season, for sure.
Right.
So yeah, if you're going to read a Goosebumps, this is a strong candidate as one that you should 100% pick up and read.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's worth your time. It was fun.
So, do you think there's any morals in this one?
I mean,
Today I learned
Yeah, what does it teach kids?
I think
bats aren't real.
Yeah, bats are
No,
very
it's birds.
real. I
Birds
told
aren't
stories. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, the lesson here is, what is family? You know, is it a brother and sister and a mom and dad, or is it a mom and her 2 kids and a dad with his kid from a secret marriage who
You
tricked
did
his...
kind of lose track of that narrative.
Yeah. I think that's the lesson in this story.
The lesson is the way out at the end must be heavily established at the beginning.
Right, like they didn't say anything about buses when they watched their car blow up.
I'm talking about pinching.
Oh, the pinching, yeah.
The way that you win the day needs to be heavily established.
Yes,
Yeah.
with the mad pincher. There was already a pincher involved.
Special effects do wonders.
That was magic.
Again, I'm telling you, it's Portal. It's a
You
portal
keep saying
system.
portals, but portals doesn't explain enough of it. See, in this
I think
scenario...
it's going on quantum physics.
Ooh.
Just wave my. You can't see this over your podcast app, over your phone or whatever. But I'm waving my hands in the air, going quantum physics.
Ooh.
Or are you doing that?
Oh, am I?
Josh and I can't know.
RL you doing that?
Oh. All right, guys. Well, I got to wrap this one up.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, this is getting weird.
Yes, we
Yeah,
all
this is
recommend
good.
it. This is a good one. We all
This is a
recommend
good
it.
book. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Good stuff. Next week on ReLiterated, October 19th, we're going to be either doing or starting. Depends on how we get through it, but we're going to be covering Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury.
Oh, love it. So good.
I am enjoying it so far.
I think I've
And-
mentioned, but Ray Bradbury is my favorite author, I believe, of all time. So
I just hope we don't find out he's a racist homophobe or something, because every time Josh loves an author.
luckily,
Yeah.
I read his biography, and I've done all
And
the things.
Secret
and
Nazi.
he is actually a wonderful, great person. He did have a very good friendship with Walt Disney, but I don't know if that had anything to do with anything. But
A
no,
friendship
he's
with Walt Disney.
it seemed like he was a very good person throughout his life. He didn't even drive a car because he saw a horrific accident when he was young, so he was too scared to ever learn.
So it had nothing to do with global warming or anything, then? It's not like he was the first
benefited.
climate
It
change
had-
person.
It had nothing to do with conscientiousness. It had everything to do with trauma.
Yes.
Trauma and fear.
It did have to do with trauma and fear. Yes.
So, Something Wicked This Way Comes next week. Read it along with us. We're going to discuss it. We're going to talk about what happens in the book.
And probably things that didn't happen in the book that we're relating to things that happened in the book.
Yep, we're going to go off on all kinds of tangents. Because that's what we do. So anyways, don't forget to support your local libraries and independent bookstores. And until next time.
Oh,
give a
special
shit.
shout out to the little libraries that some people have in front of their houses. There's like 3 on my around my area, and I've actually found quite a few good books in there. So if you have those, support those as well. They're super fun.
Yeah, be on the lookout for little libraries.
A lot of times they look just like the houses that they're in front of, so it's pretty fun and cute.
Ooh,
So
very cool. All right, so can we wrap this up now?
yep.
Let's do it.
a
Until
shit.
next time. Fuck you. Read some lit.
Oh shit! I wanted to shout out something really quick too. To the bacon double cheeseburger at McDonald's.
I hate all of you.
Have a good whatever time of the day it is for you.
Malsumesk.
This has been ReLiterated, a production of the Chocolate Milk Friends. If you enjoy our show, please consider giving us support by subscribing, recommending us to your book reading, podcast listening, 90s nostalgia enthusiast friends, and rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts and Audible Podcasts. Those go a long way towards getting us in the ears of new listeners. And don't forget to engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube. You'll find us at ReLiterated on all those sites. Or send us an email at reliterated@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.